Welcome to my pre-algebra class. We're on chapter 10, section 1. And we're going to be working with perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around a figure. To find the perimeter of any figure, you add the lengths of the sides. And there are some special cases that make it a little bit easier to add. In this case here, we have a regular pentagon, and only one side is indicated 6 because all the rest of the sides are equal. So if we walked around this shape, we would do that. We would have 5 6s. So our perimeter would be equal to 5, the number of sides, times the length of a side, 6, which would be 30. A rectangle is also a special shape because the opposite sides are congruent. Instead of saying 4 plus 8 plus 4 plus 8, we could do 2 8s plus 2 widths and get our answer, which is 24. And a square is another regular polygon. So if I have one side equal to 4, the perimeter is 4 times the length of one side, which is 4, also gives us 16. So we're ready to go ahead and do the assignment, which is on page 437. So turn to that right now. Make sure your paper's headed folded in half. And number 2 on 437, guided practice. They want us to write a formula to find the perimeter of each shape. Well, number 2 is a regular hexagon. So perimeter would equal 6 sides times n, which is the length of one side, which is n. Number 4, a triangle with sides that measure A, B, and C. So perimeter would equal, we'd have to add up all the sides, A plus B plus C. Problem number 6, find the perimeter of each figure. Number 6 is a rectangle, and the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So when I ask you to find any of these formulas in this chapter, write down the formula, then substitute the information in. And number 6, it's a rectangle. Its length is 15, and its width is 12. So 2 times 15 is 30. And 2 times 12 is 24, so the perimeter, the distance around the shape, is 54 yards. Problems 1 through 18 on the exercises. Find the perimeter of each shape. Number 2 is an irregular shape. There's all the sides are different, so we're just going to have to add up those numbers. 5. Let's take the whole numbers. 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 3. And then we have 2 1/2 and 5 1/4. So that's going to be 17 plus 2 1/2, which is 2 2/4, plus 5 1/4. So 17 plus 2 is 19, plus 5 is 24. And we have 3/4, the 2/4, and 3/4. So 24 3/4 inches. Problem number 4 is an isosceles triangle. So we have the perimeter is equal to 3 1/2 plus 2 times 7 1/3, since those sides are the same. So if we change these into fractions, 7 halves plus 2 times 7 times 3 is 21, 22 thirds. I get 7 halves plus 44 thirds. These denominator is 6, so that would be 14 6 plus 88 6, which would add up to 102 6, and I change that to a mixed number. 6 goes into 10 once. Okay, I found my mistake here. It was back here. This should be 2 goes in 6, 3. This is 21. And then I add that together. And I get 109. 6 goes into 10 once, 44 left over. 6 goes into 49, 7, 42. Excuse me, 8. 48 with 1 left over. So it's 18 and 1/6 feet. Problem number 6, a parallelogram with sides that measure 9 feet by 8 1/4 feet. So we're talking about this shape here. And it has size 9 feet and 8 1/4 feet. So the perimeter would be equal to 2 times 9 plus 2 times 8 1/4. So that would be 18 plus 16 and 2/4. So that would equal, in the simplest form, 34, and 2/4 is 1/2, 34 1/2 feet. Number 8, a rhombus with one side that measures 3.22 meters. Remember, a rhombus has all equal sides. So if each side measures 3.22 meters, the formula would be the perimeter equals 4 times that one side, because there are 4 equal sides. So 4 times 3.22 would be 12.4, excuse me, 8 meters. Problem number 10. Compare the perimeter of a Canadian football field to the perimeter of an American football field. Which is longer and by how much? So you need to turn to 434. The American, they're both rectangles. So the American football field is 120 yards. Whoops. And 53 yards, 1 foot. Canadian is 160 yards by 65 yards. So we're looking for the perimeter. So that would be 2 times 120 plus 2 times 53 yards, 1 foot. 240 plus 106 yards and 2 feet. So that would add up to 346 yards, 2 feet. The Canadian is 2. This is the American. This was the Canadian. 2 times 160 plus 2 times 65. So that's 320 plus 130, so that'd be 450. So if we wanted to, it's definitely the Canadian, and by how much more? Take 450 and from that subtract the 346 yards and 2 feet. So this would be 449 yards and 3 feet. And from 2 feet, take away 1, we get 1 left. And 6 from 9 is 3, 0, 1. So it's 103 yards and 1 foot, or 103, 1 foot is 1/3 of a yard. Problem number 12. Find the value of x. We have a rectangle. And we have, this is 9.7 centimeters. And this is x. And they tell us that the perimeter is 32. One little trick that I use when I do perimeter is that since I know these two sides are equal to these two sides, I take half the perimeter, which would be half of 32, which equals 16. So I know 16 equals 9.7 plus x. So I'm going to subtract 9.7 from 16. And I find out that the length, the missing number here, is going to be 6.3. Taking 9.7 from 16. Problem number 14, solve if possible. If there's not enough information, tell what additional facts are needed. The perimeter of a regular octagon. Oops, wrong one. It says the perimeter of a regular octagon is 19.6 meters. What's the length of one side? Well, this is a special regular polygon, so the perimeter is equal to 8 times n. So all I have to do is take 19.6, set it equal to 8n, divide by 8, and the length of each side is going to be 2.45 if I take 19.6 and divide it by 8. And number 16, what is the length of one side of a square with a perimeter of 14 feet? So I have a square, and it has a perimeter of 'Remember the formula for the perimeter of a square is 4s. And it has a perimeter of 14 feet. So if I divide by 4, I find out each side is equal to 3, goes in 12, 2/4, 3 1/2, or 3.5 feet long. And problem 18, one side of a trapezoid measures 32 inches. Two other sides each measure 14. So we have an isosceles trapezoid. And the perimeter is 108 inches. And I know one side is 32 inches. It's probably this side here. Okay, so if I add up those two equal sides and the 32, I get 60. Subtract that from the perimeter, and I find out the missing side is 48 inches. That concludes the evens. Be sure and check the answers to the odds in the back of the book.